Welcome to week 4 of the Compliance Digest, presenting topics on all things compliance related. My name's Alex Krenke. With me this week I have Jenny Green. Jenny, welcome.
Thank you.
Jenny, you're here this week to talk about the Sila National Conference that was in Denver, Colorado. We were both in attendance. We thought the conference went great, and then today we just wanted to talk about a little bit with the Compliance Digest and then come back with anything that we had from the States and then from FINRA as far as news that would benefit you guys. Before we drill down into some of the specifics, what were your overall thoughts on the conference as a whole?
Alex, I was really excited to go as a first-time attendee. I didn't really know what to expect. It was great that it was taking place in Denver, and their theme was reaching new heights with, the mountains there. It brought a great theme to the conference. Overall, the guest speakers were great. What I really liked was meeting some of those regulators face-to-face. Sometimes you get them via email, but face-to-face connections always cement relationships. And then they gave you some great networking opportunities as well, Alex.
Absolutely, yeah. I know you had the opportunity to sit down on a variety of sessions. How were those roundtable sessions that you sat in on with the state regulators? Did you learn anything new?
What is interesting is that most of the states follow the NEIC uniform standards, except for when it comes to fingerprinting or background checks. So it's interesting to see that there is some states that will be doing fingerprinting, like California. I don't know if that will take a trend in the future. A few states are coming on board with that. And then another thing, which is great for environment as well, is everyone's going paperless. So they're requiring email renewal. They're sending email renewals out. Agents will have to go online to fill out information versus sending anything back via paper.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you get to save money, you get to save the environment. It's win-win. Everyone feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Talk about the FINRA CRD IARD technology roadmap. I actually had the chance to sit in on this with Jenny too, which was hosted by 3 FINRA regulators, and thought the information was just great. I thought they were really candid during their presentation. I thought that they presented a variety of topics which were good for a variety of groups there. What were your key takeaways?
From a broker-dealer standpoint, obviously they're increasing fees, but which everyone already knows about. They are cleaning up some of the forms that are out there to make them more user-friendly for broker-dealers and compliance officers, licensing people in the industry to fill out, hopefully making their jobs a bit easier. Huge focus on broker check for investors, even to the point where Google is using SEO, looking at that so that when you're searching for a registered rep, it's one of the first 2 that pop up. Great things for investors. We'll see how registered reps like that sort of thing.
I remember hearing that as well, and I was thinking, from a marketing perspective, they always stress how important it is to be within the top 10 results or being on the first page of Google. And really, you can apply this to everything when you're looking at someone either as an investment opportunity, as a potential financial advisor, or even just looking up somebody to hire for hiring purposes. You always search for their name using Google or a different search engine, and usually the top results are always Facebook page, LinkedIn page, Twitter page, or a personal page. It's something that will give you a little bit greater insight into the person individually. So what the public is asking for is the same thing. If they're looking to make an investment with one of these advisors, they want to see their reputation, and the best way to find that really is broker check, a reliable site that has reporting that that the industry depends on.
Yes.
I know one of the topics that's been getting a lot of attention this year has been social media. What did you guys discuss during the Climbing Around Social Media Pitfalls session?
It was interesting because they took it even farther than compliance. They gave an instance of United Airlines and their Breaking Guitars YouTube video. United Airlines was not on YouTube and did not know about this, but was getting bad press about it. So it brought that it was not just a compliance issue, it was a risk and reputation thing. What's interesting, if you're not playing, if you're not out there on social media, you wouldn't even know what's really being said about you. Another thing that was discussed is having a strong policy in place, keeping in light of all of the state laws that are passing regarding privacy and other things of what the firm wants to represent out there in the social media front. And then I think lastly, what was really interesting was the Colorado Department of Insurance discussed how they use investigative checks to do some of their fraud work and things of that nature, whether it's Twitter or a LinkedIn or Facebook. And they again brought attention to the fact that social media, once you post something out there, it's out there forever.
Yeah, it's incredible, They always say if you're not on social media and you think that means someone's not talking about you, it's probably not true. They probably are talking about you, and you have no way of controlling the conversation. And what we're also seeing too is that social media is really becoming the modern complaint department, especially for these large firms who have a public-facing site. So if you have a problem, it's not that you just kind of quietly call their customer service line. It's if you want to get something done quickly, what you should do really is post on their Twitter, make a post on their Facebook page, because then everyone's going to see it, and it's not going to go away. So what they're going to have to do is really respond to it, because they don't want the public seeing either this complaint about them or negative press about them. And it's really when the people have the power; they can say anything they want.
Exactly.
So moving gears a little bit, I understand you also sat in on the Securities Open Forum. I missed that one, but I heard it was great. What were some of the hot ticket items that are coming up for the fourth quarter of 2012?
It was actually the first session, Alex, that I actually sat in that was closed door to regulators with CCOs. I mean, we work with our clients, with our compliance officers on a day-to-day basis, but to see a group of them talking about all of their problems together in a live format was very interesting and insightful. Regarding some of the topics that were brought up, the state-regulated investment advisors are seeing the states ask for more financial information on those investment advisors. Firms are also getting in trouble for parking registrations, which is an interesting topic, and I think that's something that firms have always tried to do. FINRA exams, there's new risk-based exams going out. They're more frequent. They're seeing more surprise branch audits going out, which is not what's been done in the past. So it's an irregular thing for a lot of the CCOs out there. Another thing is that they're lasting longer. So, for example, one firm had started their exam in February and still has not had their exit interview. Another hot topic at that was actually social media again. And out of all the CCOs there, none of them prohibited. And the reason for that is that they couldn't do the due diligence on a prohibition of a policy. So they were saying that FINRA will ask for your policy, and then they'll ask for your process in place to check in on that policy. And what they've discovered is that prohibiting social media, it is hard to have a solid process in place behind there.
Yeah, I agree. And initially, early on in the year, what we saw is people were prohibiting it because it was either too complicated or too expensive. And now we're finding out that it's actually it's harder to prove when you are prohibiting it that they're not using it. It requires so much more legwork to go in and search for these people and find not only are they not on there, but they don't have hidden profiles or things that you can't tap into, and make sure they're not saying anything that goes against your firm's policy.
Exactly. A Google search is not going to give you the results that you're looking for.
Right. Last question. Any final thoughts on the conference?
I think overall the conference was great. We got to meet, a lot of people in the industry and put faces to names. But I think what will help is a lot of the insurance regulators talked about what's been happening in the past. They weren't talking a lot about what will be coming down in the future. So a lot of the discussions were around clarifying what's been happening in the past, and it would be nice in the future to see more future conversations in the conference.
Well, that'll actually cover it for the week. Thank you very much, Jenny, for joining me on the Sila discussion. Again, this is the Compliance Digest. Thank you for joining us this week, and we'll see you next week.